The station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Tonight on DC News Now at 10, mourning and remembering. Family and friends hold a vigil for a 10-year-old girl shot to death in a DC car. Our team was the only crew there for coverage. Also tonight, human remains discovered in Maryland. Prince George's County Police probe the case in Lanham and not far from neighborhoods and busy 495. And triumph and tragedy. A winner at the Preakness in Baltimore tonight after one Colt contender is euthanized after a track injury. Good evening and thank you for joining us for DC News Now at 10 on DCW 50. I'm Ben Dennis. We're seeing some rain across the DMV tonight. Our meteorologist Scott Sumner has a look at how long we can expect it to last.
All right, Ben. Yeah, a couple more hours for some of us, and as you'll see in just a second, a radar is showing, again, most of us, many counties, many cities and towns, dry at this hour, but there's still some lingering showers up around the Baltimore area and east of there, heading into the eastern shore. Also, southern Maryland waiting for a little bit more shower activity, especially around places like Charles County and points south of there over the next few hours. Matter of fact, our future scan shows those showers between now and 11 o'clock here over the next hour, moving across St. Mary's County, so certainly be aware of that. Some showers are moving out tonight. The sun is going to come back tomorrow. Yeah, that sounds very familiar, doesn't it? And a very quiet and dry week ahead. We'll talk all about it and show you the 7-day coming up. Ben?
Looking forward to it, Scott. In the district tonight, it's been a violent week in around D.C. 2 children among several people shot within days of each other. One 10-year-old girl was killed, and a 12-year-old recovers tonight. Ariana Davis, the youngest victim, killed after a stray bullet went into the car that she was sitting in. Our Dave Laval was the only TV news reporter there tonight at that vigil. He joined her family and friends tonight as they remembered her young life.
I thank everyone for coming up, showing my baby love.
A distraught Antoinette Belk addresses the dozens of people who turned out at the fields of RFK campus Saturday night.
She was so sweet. She loved everyone.
Yes, she did.
She loved everybody.
They gathered to celebrate the life of her daughter, Ariana Davis. The 10-year-old died Wednesday after someone shot her in Northeast D.C. while she and her family drove home Mother's Day night. Davis is the second juvenile to die by gun violence on the same day. Someone shot and killed 17-year-old Jefferson Luna Perez near Roosevelt High School, where he attended classes. A 12-year-old girl, meanwhile, survived a gunshot wound to her leg while she slept in her home last Monday morning.
Something needs to be done. How many children do we have to lose?
Pastor Jody Fletcher is Ariana's uncle. The child's death is the latest tragedy for the family.
Just buried our brother on yesterday, and now we got to bury our niece from the same neighborhood for the same thing, violence. This baby is gone. We'll never get an opportunity to ever see a graduation, never walk across nobody's stage, never be able to do anything.
You my heart, baby.
Family and friends found something they can do, celebrate a young life cut short by violence. At the fields of RFK campus, Dave Laval, DC News Now.
That's a tough one there. I appreciate Dave for that reporting. Metro Police are still looking for the gunman responsible for this week's shootings. DC Police have told us that they have recorded 41 children shot so far this year. And new tonight, DC Police say that they're investigating a fatal shooting happened this morning in Southeast just after 8 o'clock. Police say they went to Stanton Road near Mississippi Avenue near the DC-Maryland line after gunshots were reported there. 36-year-old Little Price Jr. of Bladensburg, Maryland was pronounced dead. MPD officers are offering a reward of up to $25,000 for information leading to an arrest and a conviction. And developing now in Prince George's County, Maryland, human remains discovered today in Lanham, not far from homes and shopping centers. Police say the remains were found around 10:20 this morning near Annapolis Road and Route 495. Police did not say who discovered the remains, but they added the person's ID has not yet been released until the medical examiner confirms this and family is contacted. An autopsy will be done to determine the cause and manner of death. Anyone with information should call police. In an ongoing search tonight, new details after a man allegedly broke into a Fairfax County home and tried to sexually assault a woman inside. The crime happening midday in Chantilly. Fairfax County police hope their sketch will help find him. They say the attack happened Thursday around noon at a home on Iberia Circle. The woman was able to escape and call police. Investigators are now asking anyone with information to contact Crime Solvers. Tips can remain anonymous, and tipsters are eligible for a cash reward. And developing now, new video into our newsroom of a D.C. apartment fire that happened last night in the Adams Morgan neighborhood. You can see smoke shooting up into the air, black smoke visible for quite some distance. It happened at the Avalon condos on Adams Mill Road Northwest at Lanier Place. More than 100 first responders on hand. D.C. Fire says all 28 apartments are now uninhabitable. At least 24 people were reportedly displaced, and luckily, no one was hurt. Heading over to Maryland, more guardrails are going up along US 15 in Frederick County. This comes after a deadly tanker truck crash, you remember, that happened in March. But as our Michaela Newton tells us, people have been happy with the improvements there.
Lots of major improvements have been made since a deadly tanker truck crash in March. Now, according to the Maryland Department of Transportation, more guardrails will be added in both directions on US 15 between Jefferson Street and North Motter Avenue. 2 months ago, Apple Avenue in Frederick County looked completely different after a tanker truck crashed along US 15. What's there now is a guardrail system on one side of the highway to improve safety for motorists and residents. Now the Maryland Department of Transportation State Highway Administration will begin a project to install new guardrails in both directions along US 15 in Frederick County. Neighbors in the area say though there is still work to be done, they're happy with the improvements made so far.
I think it's great. I love the fence up there that gives the folks who live around here some privacy from the highway. If I lived here, I would definitely want that as well.
You know, I wish they had been here before, but I think if they put them all along the street, it'd be great. Drivers should expect more traffic as construction begins.
And that project is set to begin on Sunday night. Reporting in Frederick, Maryland, I'm Michaela Newton for DC News Now.
And back to weather with our Scott Sumner. Scott, you are forecasting that rain is moving out of our area, and we're having a much prettier Sunday at hand.
Oh, yes, indeed, Ben. Yeah, stick around for that forecast coming up. I'll show it to you in just a moment. Right now, though, we've got mostly cloudy skies, 67 degrees. We're looking at, of course, the Kennedy Center, and then behind that, the Lincoln Memorial. And then if you were to look even further this way, a little bit further off behind me and behind the blue box there, that's where Reagan National Airport is. And every once in a while, depending upon the flight route, planes come right over this area and into the runway and into the airport. So as far as tonight, like I said, mostly cloudy skies, 67 degrees at the moment. We have a northerly breeze at 7 miles an hour. Those winds will pick up as we go throughout the day tomorrow. Humidity and dew point will drop over the next 12 to 18 hours. It'll be a little drier atmosphere. But right now, I've targeted the Spotsylvania area. Spotsylvania County, actually. Fredericksburg is here. Highway 117-3. All seeing some heavy rain, and this is where the heaviest rain lies. Otherwise, to the north, seeing some light rain. Spotty in nature. As a matter of fact, road conditions across many areas along and to the east of I-95 are seeing wet conditions here, like around Waldorf, like obviously Fredericksburg, over towards the Annapolis area, and even close to the Lexington Park vicinity. So again, road conditions are showing that a little wet. And again, planning your evening for the remainder of the evening. There's still a slight chance of showers in and around St. Mary's County. Temperatures at that point into the 60s, but then dropping into the 50s. And here's a look for the walk in the park tomorrow. Clear skies, lots of sunshine, and temperatures into the 70s. More details with that 7-day forecast, which I think you'll like, coming up. Ben?
Looking forward to my own personal walk in the park. Thank you, Scott. Today was the 148th annual Preakness, and a winner has been crowned. It is fittingly named National Treasure. The 3-year-old colt belonged to trainer Bob Baffert during his official return to the Triple Crown after his 2-year suspension. But for Baffert, it was not only a day of triumph, but also for tragedy for one of his horses. Its jockey having to avoid being trampled during the Preakness after the horse it was riding had a leg injury that was later euthanized. During an undercard race, Have a Meltdown, the name, suffered a leg injury during the final turn. The jockey, Luis Saez, thrown off its back. The decision was then made to euthanize the 3-year-old colt. Saez was taken to a nearby hospital for evaluation, but he is alert, according to track officials. Baffert, trainer, is in hot water again. He was suspended in 2021 after his horse Medina Spirit failed a drug test after winning the Kentucky Derby. And Preakness was Baffert's first race back since the suspension. Baffert tweeted a statement calling today's Preakness incident shocking, adding that his team will be fully transparent with those reviewing this terrible accident. And his team's thoughts are with Saez and hopeful he will be okay. DC News Now sports anchor Brandy Flores will join us in just a little bit with the new details from a veterinarian at the track.